You slide over and you can't do this shit.
I go to the club.
I'm sorry.
Chanel, you really 2 pounds.
Yes. Stop
She
complaining all the
gotta
time.
slide over some.
I'm on the edge.
Me too.
It's a Sean.
Alright. Yeah, he saw it, Jesus.
You got too much headroom on that phone. I thought the reason I bought that so you put that on there.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, get out my couch.
You the computer more this way?
Yes.
This one?
No.
No, like turn it towards you more.
It is, I guess not.
No.
Me
You
cut
pull the. This one need to be tilted down a little bit.
Because you're going to see more stuff down here. We don't see none of that. Hey, y'all, come on in the room.
I find it look on.
Say, say hello when you come in. Let us know that you're here. This is the Thomas family -1. And tonight we are talking about blended families. So come on in, share with your friends. Why y'all looking so serious? Y'all acting like y'all can't breathe. Breathe out. Breathe it out. Hey, Curtis. Look, Jerry said you could put it on the TV.
Who said that?
That's what it today. Cousin Sensei, hello.
Yeah, that's
Hola.
not that's not gonna
Hello,
work.
hey cousin. Hello, people. Hey, cousin. It's me.
Hey, Michaela, what is it, Malika? What did I say, Chanel?
Malachi. Malik.
They don't Malachi. I said Chanel. See? Look, see, y'all ready? Y'all ready for an entertaining night? Because this is what it's going to be in the house with the Thomas crew. This is a normal night. So, hey, family, how's it doing Mondays? Hello. What you said? What you said, Denise? What you said?
So we didn't do nothing yet.
Hey, Amara done started up back there. So, we're trying to give people time to come on in and get started. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Say, are you guys wearing the glasses? Aren't you? What glasses? What glasses?
Why are you
You talking about you.
You know what I'm talking
Hey, Candace. Hey, Shayla.
But she just act like she didn't.
First of all, he said he's wearing the glasses, though. What that mean? You saying because I got on glasses?
No, because
You
you said you
y'all.
couldn't see. You said Chanel,
You.
read it, and then.
First of all, you can't be coming for me. This is a night about.
The ones on your face is what he's saying.
See, this is how they treat me, y'all. This is not love. This is not how you treat your mama. The ones on your face, Curtis, don't do that. Don't do that.
Tough love.
You gonna go to bed. Keep on. Put you in timeout. Right there in your favorite corner.
Ooh.
Shade. I ain't like my shade. No. Okay. Whatever. Anyway. What my thing ain't updated. What are you doing, Christopher? What was that?
I'll get you my armpit.
Really?
My shirt.
So, if you would, on the left-hand side of your screen, for those of you on Facebook, look, hit the share button, share it to your page. So as we talk about blended families, you can get some of your friends and family members. Look at Tevin talking about, hey, we mixed family.
Hey, cousin. Hey, cousin.
That's just all. Hey, cousin. Whenever you say that, we know who you're talking about. Hey, cousin. That's the only time you sound white too. Hey, cousin. Any other time, cousin. Is that am I lying?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, on the left-hand side in the corner, hit the share button if you will. Share it to your page so that your friends and family can join on in. We're gonna have a good topic, a good discussion and topic. That's the topic. Well, I'm smart. I put them all together. We're gonna have a good topic tonight, and so I'm trying to give everybody a minute to share. I guess I can share it to my page as well.
We're blending.
Leave. I'm
The
just.
girl who said shimmy, shimmy.
Blended families. Shut up.
Who you telling me shut up?
Right.
Y'all laughing at me. Probably Sean.
Who said we laughing?
Look, Curtis, time I take over said.
We weren't laughing.
I know,
at you.
right?
So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started.
Please.
Oh, y'all so wrong for that. As you come in the room, say hello. Anyway,
And tell us where you from.
what's that you claim?
Represent.
O-Town? Where you
Again,
sign?
don't
I'm
forget to
not
share.
Like you affiliated.
You O-Town affiliated.
Okay.
Give us some likes.
It's an O.
Yes, give us some hearts
Some
and
hearts.
likes and lions and tigers and bears on mine. Okay, I see my little light. There was two little lights went across the screen too. So anyway, cousin Yolanda came on. Hey y'all, love you too, Yolanda.
Hey.
Bethlehem, Southside, Curtis. Bethlehem, Southside.
Right.
Wow. All right, so tonight, I know you've heard us talk about family and everything we got going on. Let's say,
ARATL.
and I can't say the name. I'm trying the name.
Kawana.
Kawana. Yes, I
ATL
do.
in the house.
But what we want to do is
McPhee. I see you, boy.
What we want to do is talk about. People don't really know all the background. We've talked about different stories, and Cedric and I have always been candid with our life. And this is our family minus one. Although his drawing is above our head, or this way, right here.
Yeah.
Let's say it. He's not here now.
Stop motion.
Tanisha says she here from Orlando.
All the way.
Really, Tanisha, always from Orlando. So, Cedric, you want to start? Or you want me to start telling about our story?
This is a story all about how.
Like God looked that upside down.
And I like taking men just sit right there.
I'm sorry. Say what?
Of what, Mark? You know the word.
Bel Air.
Okay.
He just know Bel Air.
All right, we're gonna try to get this together because I'm telling you, my family like to have go right down the street, around the corner. You want to start? Or you want me to start?
What am I
About our
saying?
family, how we
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
shut up.
How
He's
we
trying
what?
not get nowhere.
Like when the kids talking about blended families.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh my God,
I missed
Curtis,
it.
you want him to take over? That's how you act.
I told y'all rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Mix as in multiple different parents and multiple personalities, right?
No, you
Yeah,
saying
they-
about what about our family? I'm sorry. What I'm
Give people the background about our family, honey, about our blended family.
The background. I met her.
Baby, don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do
Oh,
that.
oh, tell the story how y'all met. Oh no, you tell. Oh wait, no, that's another story. But you.
We on blended families. Can you stay focused?
Anyway,
It is a part of the family.
when I met her, she had these three little gerbils right here. And I thought that the gerbils were cute because they used to run around on a little wheel, gerbil wheel, real fast.
Not helpful at all.
They were a little less than one, I think.
Correct.
When I started messing with Angie.
Stop messing with me. Wait, when you met me, stop saying stop messing with me. Stevie J, don't you start that mouth. Oh, I can't stand it.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and so we progressed from there, and
Thank you, Tamara.
we were a unit since that point, and then we already had a son, Cedric Jr. I think he was 5 at the time or something like that. When
Baby, you tell me what you name. You gotta speak up, speak clearly, okay?
I'm
Protect
not
your voice.
speaking clearly.
You mumbling.
I can
I'm
hear
not
him.
mumbling at all.
Hey, look. See, look at that.
See, this is what happens when your wife wants you to talk, but then she complain the whole time. That's why your husband shut down. I'm shutting down right now. I'm shutting down.
But no.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so I had a son already, and he was 5, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, unsure. And then we had this little guy at some point. So, so that's the story, and we're here, and
Look, Yolanda said she can't hear you.
they're 18 now.
You heard me? Yolanda said she can't hear you.
Well, something wrong with her. Not my fault.
Well, we're talking about blended families, and we never use the word step anything, so people don't always, they see us very culturally diverse and eclectic over here, and they don't always understand. Strangers, shut up, Shanice. Strangers stare and wonder, but we want to do like we do with our marriage, do the same thing for our family and help. Now, one of the things that Cedric, they were, like he said, they were less than one when we met. So they just automatically start calling him Dad. Yolanda said, really? Said something wrong with her. Start calling him Dad. So some of the issues that happen in the blended families we didn't deal with in the beginning because we didn't have that transition. It's a little different when
we dealt with, just not from that part of it.
What, Sean?
I was looking at the comment.
Okay, you can't be up here having your random laugh conversations. This is the way to do it at home. Like, okay, Sean, stay focused here.
Say with my white cousin, get the chance.
Oh my God, we gonna do this now. Let us set the. Can we set the scene up? Jesus.
Yeah, Angie takes too long to set the scene.
Right, y'all been sitting for 20 minutes.
5 hours later.
Y'all gonna let us do this? What?
We wait for you.
Go ahead.
This kind of stuff I get, the boosters I get from them at home. Anyway, I was saying we didn't deal with all the normal stuff that people have, where somebody have adults or teenage children and they marry somebody, or they have two different families coming together in and coming into the same household, because that's all they knew in the beginning. And so, you gonna say something? Oh, that's all I knew in the beginning. So, my first question to them is, when did you realize that Cedric Thomas was not your biological father?
What? He's not my biological father? I didn't know. Well, it'd have to be when, I think we were 6, when Mommy told us that we called him our biological father Poppy when he died. She had to explain it to us, and I always thought, that Daddy was our dad, our biological dad. I didn't even know what a biological dad it was, I don't think.
Tell him that story, Chanel.
You was refreshing me on this story. I didn't even
So
know.
I picked him up from school one day at elementary school, and Chanel, she's like, Mom, what's a biological dad? And I said, what are you talking about? Well, because Shara said that is not our real dad. And I said, yes, it is. He said, that is not your biological daddy. So that's how I had to have a conversation, because the ghetto little girl told her that's not your real daddy. That's not your biological daddy. So that's when they found out a little bit more about that process. But everybody does not have that same story. Sean, when did you find out? Was it the same time, Chanel?
Yes, man. I think around elementary school, that's when I found out. Like when my friends would actually say, you can't have two African American parents and be this white. Like,
that's cold.
Shanice?
Just tell me you like skin.
That girl said, what's the question? Oh my God. Shanice is not paying attention in class. You heard her say, what's the question? See, this right here. So, all right. So,
When did you know?
okay, let's stay up focused. I do want to help people. I want to laugh, but I want to get something done.
Repeat the question.
No.
They'll answer it.
Okay. There it
When
is.
did you know that I was not your biological father?
She's not open.
You always been my dad. So.
I'm saying, when did you find out? There had to be some point.
I think just recently.
Recently,
That girl said
like this
recently.
year.
Yeah.
But how do you not know that when you had your biological father pass away? You didn't realize it?
I don't really remember those times. I remember one time when I was crying in the car because he died. But besides that, I don't know. That phase is a blur to me.
Okay.
How old were they when he passed? I don't remember.
6.
No, they were older than I think.
Why did I say daddy was in their life when he was
They were married.
So, let's fast forward. What are I know you have to deal with your friends and stuff. What does your friends say about your blended family? Because you said that your blended family is different than most of y'all friends' blended families. Why so? How so?
Well, first, tell us what their experience is or what they have expressed to you.
So many questions.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Go ahead.
It's so many questions because they see us riding with mommy one day and they say, bye, mom. And then they see us riding with daddy one day and they say, bye, daddy. They be like, that don't add up. Like, they don't understand how we light skin. So we always have a lot of questions about who's your real dad, does that ask your mom, is your mom white or is your dad white, or is a lot of questions.
Okay. So I'm talking about more so the blended family of having another, parent in the house. You say your friends have blended families. So what's the difference in their household than yours?
That we call our stepdad's dad. Like, we use different titles than other people.
So what title do they use?
By their name.
Their first name.
They call their mom or dad's spouse by their first name.
By their first name.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think that's disrespectful because, I can't even imagine calling any adult like by their first name because I know that won't end well for me. No. So, I don't understand how you can call someone that's like taking care of you and paying bills in your house by their first name, at least at minimum, say Mr. or Mrs., because they're still, it's adjustment for them too, so they want some kind of respect, I guess.
So you feel like if somebody calls their step-parent by their first name, it's disrespectful. Is that are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So why do you think that is, though? Why do you think they call them by their first name?
Well, because the step-parent came in later on in their life. Like, daddy came, we were just young, so we were used to it. But some people, they're already like 16 or 17 when the parents come into their lives, so it's a whole different thing. They gotta adjust more.
I think both parents don't demand the respect. So they just like, the kids gotta adjust. But I feel like if you demand that from like the beginning, like have a conversation with your kids, like, hey, because they're old enough. If they're 16 or 17, they're old enough to understand. Call this person Mr. or Mrs. at least, because I feel like people just let them get away with it. Because I hear a lot of people just like Marcus, even they call their biological parents by their first name. So like you just gotta have that at the beginning.
So now, okay, but they don't have to call them. Like I see somebody said that it says my son calls my fiance dad sometimes. The thing is not to call them to tell them that they have to call the new spouse dad or mom. The thing is the respect factor. We'll have our children call adults Mr. and Mrs., but then they'll say Angie to if I'm somebody's stepmom, hey Angie, or Angie did this, or Cedric did this. If there's respect that they're saying Mr. and Mrs., then why does it not carry over to your spouse? I don't understand says Shauna, it's possible to be the light and not mixed. Jasmine said has the same complexion. Right. It was saying Cousin Taylor said, Sean, it is possible to be that light and not mixed. Jasmine has the same complexion as y'all, and Cynthia and I are both darker. And then Trina says, and their real dad as well. Trina, you said their real dad as well.
No, she said...
My kids call my husband dad. Now, Cedric, you said something to me earlier about why the issue with calling a step-parent different things. What factors you say that play into that?
Well, obviously, if you have a step-parent in your life, and especially later on in your life, you feel torn and you feel like you're betraying your birth parent by calling that other parent dad or mom or whatever the case may be. So you feel a certain sense of loyalty to your mom or dad. So that's a lot of time I feel why kids would refrain from
saying mom or dad.
Right.
Okay, but Joelle says, I call my ex-stepmom by her name. She came into my life when I was 6 or 7, and both of my parents always said I have one mother and one father. And Joelle, I understand that. However, at 6 or 7, no 6 or 7-year-old should be calling an adult by their first name. That is totally unacceptable. Whether it's a step parent, but just adult in general, that's just a respect factor. So that's where that's where the hang up is for me. There is no gray area for a child to be called an adult by their first name.
Yeah, but this is the point I want to bring out too. A lot of people are getting confused. We're not saying that
that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, no, I'm just saying we're not saying that you have to call that step parent dad or mom.
Right.
Just not by their first name. There has to be some type of title attached to it.
Correct.
Mr., Mrs., something.
And we've even said for some couples that we've dealt with to have the children come up with a catchy name.
Right. A nickname.
Like a nickname.
Mama, Papa.
You know, I mean, I know sometimes those names he's saying are grandparents' names, but some kind of catchy something that will give that person a distinguished name other than just their first name. Because when you teach your child that you have respect for adults, and you don't talk to them, call them by their first name, how then do you marry somebody and say this person has to be on the first name basis? Say, I want my stepdaughter call me by her first name. Oh, Centoria. She's so silly. If a man and woman refers to their spouse's children as step, that shows me that they don't have a good relationship. Well, Keith, not necessarily. People sometimes don't know better until they learn.
Right.
We have never used the word step in our house at all. We're doing this saying step for the purpose of this broadcast, so you'll know the difference in who we're talking about. Because every time they say daddy, they're talking about Cedric. That's just it. So, but for the purpose of this, we're trying to say step parent for the relationship value of who we're talking about. And I do believe that when you say stepchild, step whoever, it's like they're not attached to you. There's something almost like a growth.
Like you're not trying to accept them. It starts off the relationship bad, like immediately when you call them step or something, because the end goal, I would think you would want to just be like a normal family, but you can't achieve that if you already established like the disconnect.
Okay.
Right.
So what other issues do you see your friends that have blended families deal with that either we've had to deal with or they don't have to deal with?
Well, like they don't have more on the respect part. They're like, okay, I don't have to listen to my step parent because that's not my biological father or mother. So they're like, you don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my biological parent, so.
But the thing about I want to talk about with that comment too is that a lot of times that's reiterated by that outside parent because they're talking negatively about the parent and the other parent and the parent's spouse because they may have some resentment about their relationship.
Correct.
Or whatever the case may be. So that's another way that the child is torn. Like even if you're treating the child well, they may be like, I like this person, but my mom always has something negative to say, or my dad always has something negative to say about them. So I can't like them, and I can't let my mom or my dad know that I like them because obviously they don't have that same kind of feeling toward them.
Okay, so one of the things Joelle said, she might have said miss to her stepmother. She said it's been so long ago, she don't remember, and I understand that. Jabril asked, can a step parent discipline children? So if we're saying step parent, look at Sean nodding his head, it's stupid. Okay, so when we're saying step parent, we're saying step parent for the sake of knowing the role only. We do not use step parent at all, ever in our house. I don't think we've ever said that.
I only had to use step parent when I got in high school and people were asking me to explain the dynamics between.
Right, okay. So because it's normal to them, people see our family and are confused. So sometimes they have to use that to explain the situation, but it's never been step anything. So Jabril, yes. This is my thoughts on this. You have to marry somebody that you trust with your children. If you don't, you're going to be divided and divorced anyway. Because if these are my children and you can't discipline them or you can't say anything to them, like Sint said, I didn't finish reading her comment, but she said she had a little bit of attitude. A lot of children, when they get a new parent, a step parent, a parent thrust on them, have an attitude. Because that ain't my daddy, that ain't my mama. And so they will have attitudes. So if they know that this parent has no say-so at all in their lives, then it's going to get worse because
they're going to treat them that way.
They're going to talk to them disrespectfully. They're going to be crazy with them.
I'm sorry, man. This is one thing I wanted to bring out too, because we've obviously done a lot of counseling things based on this type of situation. And the thing that a lot of couples do that's a mistake is they hide that spouse from the child's other parent. There has to be a situation where the other parent can meet with everyone can talk, and they can feel comfortable that, okay, this spouse is not a pedophile,
not going to mistreat my child.
Right. And they feel comfortable that that parent has the best interest of that child in mind, and that spouse is not trying to replace them as a parent. You know, because when you meet, you say, look, I'm marrying whoever. You have a child with them. That's a bonus child for me. I'm going to love that child. I'm going to take care of that child. I'm not trying to replace you. You know, having an adult conversation, a lot of that negativity that outside parent has will be changed. Now, not every situation, because some people are just petty like that, but in most cases, if we're going to be adults about it and we have conversations, they can ask questions, you know, they have access to that person, they will feel more comfortable with their child being over there.
Right. And the other thing is, I saw a comment, well, one says, Sint says, she's been on all sides. She was raised by a stepmother. She became a stepmother. Now her daughter has a stepmother. She has full circle. And it's important that they have an open line of communication. And Jabril, going back to your question about can they discipline, I think the first step before we get to discipline is you need to get to know that child.
Right. Establish a relationship.
Because it's like when a parent come in the house and just start hitting the child or start, acting like this, meantime, I'm going to set things in order, then all this person sees is all this change, and it's a lot of change, and no one does well to a lot of change.
Right.
And then you're very strict, and a lot of times single mothers are not. They are really lax, and they might be mean and they talk, but they don't follow through because we be tired and we just do whatever. So you got to actually take time to invest and have a conversation and know the children. One thing that my cousin Ted, who is always on here, every time we're together, he makes conversation about how he sees the interaction between Cedric and the children and how there is no difference and how they respond to him and he responds to them. Like, for instance, Shanice is a daddy's girl. Like, I can say something and she finna fall on the floor, roll around and act like I done murdered the world. He can say the exact same thing and she want to go hug and lay on him. And he be like, go on. And they want to hug and lay. I was like, what? Now, I just said the same thing. But to me, the fact that they didn't even know that wasn't their biological spoke volumes to the relationship. Now, doesn't mean Cedric ain't do things wrong. I didn't do things wrong. Yes, we both did things wrong, but that's just in parenting in general. Right. You learn how to be a parent.
There's no manual.
Right. There is definitely no manual.
Each child is different.
So, so one of the things that said,
while you looking that up, if you did the dating thing correctly, once you get married, it won't be a problem, because if you're a single parent, then whoever you're seriously dating, you need to go ahead and start cultivating that relationship with that person and your child before you even think about marriage. Because if that relationship doesn't work, how can you marry that person?
Right.
You're bringing turmoil into the marriage before it even starts.
Yes. So tell me something else that you guys, since y'all got a lot to say, now y'all act like y'all quiet, y'all done got shocked. So you talk about, because I know you have, their situation is a lot more complex, and it's gonna be another night, another series, because they are biracial. And if you will, on the left-hand side of your screen, if you would share again for us, so that people can join the conversation. This is much-needed conversation. they are biracial, and they have the other side of their family who do not want to have anything to do with them. And we have Cedric's mom, who you wouldn't know is not their biological grandmother. And you have my family. So they're well supported. But then they still have these unanswered questions, these unanswered thoughts. I know for Sean, his is more not just the not blended family, but his is more racially charged. Like, how can my biological grandparents not want to have anything to do with me? So you can speak more to that. I know that's more of your issue. So go ahead and speak to that.
Well, I mean, I'm just like, if you were a grandparent, I don't get how any grandparent of a child, especially if their son died, and like I'm the only connection to him, or we're the only connection to him, how you would want to cut us off completely. I just didn't get that concept. But
So their hatred is greater than their love.
yeah.
Their hatred for black people is deeper than their love for family. So does that affect you, Shanice?
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, yes,
Speak up.
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of unanswered questions I have as well. Like this, it don't make sense to me, just as a person in general, to cut off family and not talk to them for 7 to 18 years, and it just don't. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't make sense. I would love to know why they didn't, but.
Chanel?
I mean, I don't really care as much, because I mean, they just got the hatred.
Right.
When we had started talking about this, like when we were turning 18, around started senior year, and my thought on it is, Daddy, if he's not biological and he can love us, then why can't someone who's biological love us? So I didn't really. It's like I didn't really care, because it's like.
She might make me cry. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, like, I don't really have any questions, because I kind of can answer these on my own. Like, you don't want us, like, and I'm not going to try to get a relationship with you, and I'm not going to try to put myself out there and try to connect with you if you don't want to do that with me, because it's going to end up leaving me hurt. And I'm happy with my family now, so I don't really have a need to connect with that side of the family.
Well, my thing was, the only thing I wanted us to have a connection for is that when we get older, we might have these health problems that come from our other side of the family that may not come from this side of the family that we're most connected to. Like, if something comes up and we don't know about it, what are we supposed to do? Because we didn't know, or we don't know our family history, so how are we supposed to be prepared? Or when we have children, tell our children, or anything.
But that's a bigger part to me, that it's important in blended families. If both parents, if the new spouse is there, and then the ex-spouse or whoever, the dad and the biological dad, the mother and the biological mother are still around, the stepmothers or whatever are still around, that they need to be able to have conversations, because as much as Cedric has been here with them at every IEP meeting, every school teacher conference, getting them dressed at the bus stop, when I was on bed rest with Christopher, like just doctor's appointment, he was at everything with all three of them. And if he can do that, then like, if you had a relationship, because when you start pitting the parents against each other, that ain't your mama, that ain't your daddy, that's your stepmama, I'm always gonna be the only one, then why can't they have love from all sides? Like, my thing is, as long as I knew that the person that, the other side was going to be with, that was not going to harm my children, I'm okay with it. I just don't want you to have them around somebody, because there's some idiots out there and that do stuff to children, and then we got to go to jail at that point. But no matter how much Cedric loves them, there's still something that they're longing for, and questions that we can't answer. And although that's racially motivated, it happens even with blended families, because if
you could just be, I don't like somebody, because
right.
You have parents that don't like you or whatever, and I mean, so it's not just a racial thing. Just some people just, Ted says he loved y'all enough for everyone, my cousins.
Yeah, he does.
So this person said, "My God, this is such a blessing to us. How transparent the two of you are with your personal life, just to be a blessing to us and help your viewers with our issues. May God continue to bless your household. Thanks a million for all you do." And was it Talicia?
Yeah, we missed a bunch of comments.
We missed a bunch of comments.
Don't kill us, guys.
And
We're
we
trying to
can-
let the kids talk. I'm sorry.
And this is the thing. I wish that we had a manual or some helpful hints when we started this process. But we went from babies of our family to married with blended families, and then we just had so many questions. We didn't know what to do. We couldn't even focus on our marriage so much because we had children to take care of.
Right.
And on top of having children to take care of, we got racial issues. They want to know why their biological grandparents aren't wanting to be involved, why they don't want to see them.
Well, that
And
wasn't so
they
much an
lived.
issue early on.
It was though.
Because
It was.
they
It's
were
always
small.
been for Sean. It's
Well,
always been
but
for Sean.
him, but
Sean is Sean Jr. So Sean has always had an issue because he was the one that used to go over there a little bit when he was younger.
right, they
And
didn't go as much as him.
They didn't go as much.
Right.
And so Sean has always had the issue of like, how can you drop me? How can you just leave me out there, not want to know how I'm doing? And they live literally like 10 minutes away from us. I mean, we passed their house. Like they live 10, maybe 12 minutes. They live by the Millennium Mall. So they're not far from here at all. And so it is hard to know that, you know, like I know sometimes my mom would say, do you want to send them pictures?
Nope.
Do you want to send updates?
Well, we
See, now
tried
that-
to do that. We tried to do that, and they don't respond. Like you told us to send them letters, and we.
No, I ain't tell you to do that. You said you want to do that. Be clear, because I didn't.
Right.
No,
Well, nah, you told me.
because I didn't want.
We told you that you could.
I told them that they could.
But-
I didn't want to do it because I don't like the hurt. The hardest hurt I saw Sean get was when his grandfather, he was going to see a therapist because he was having an issue dealing with this rejection, and she called the grandfather. The grandfather wanted to see Sean, so he wanted to talk to his wife. When he got to talk to his wife, the wife said, "No, I don't want to see him." And the fact that he was supposed to show up and didn't show up, the cry that he couldn't catch his breath is what I didn't want him to do. But it was necessary for him to understand it wasn't me that was trying to hold them back. I was trying to shield them from some of the hurt that I knew that hatred runs deep. Like right now, you see Donald Trump got everybody on hatred, racism on steroids. Well, imagine that same type of family not wanting to see these people because they got some black in them.
Yeah, but you had to do that though because he would have had some resentment towards you if you didn't let him explore that and see for himself.
Right. And I told them that you old enough to call them on your phones. I gave them their number, the number's still the same, to reach out. I told them they could send pictures and stuff.
But we had a conversation with them and told them that we didn't think it was a good idea.
Right.
But it's your choice.
But the issue is that when you send something out, then you're waiting on a response back. You're waiting on acceptance. And I need them to know, you know, Sean has cerebral palsy. Shanice had some issues when she was over. Everybody had some different issues. And you talking about honor student, you talking about AP courses. You saw they went to Princeton and Pratt and stuff over the summer. Like they're graduating with all kind of cords because of, I would say, the prayers of our family, the love and support of my family and Cedric's family. And although they would love to have,
Really, it's because of me.
although they would love to have, you know, that acceptance, because there's always a need for acceptance, but they have done so. I feel like they don't deserve to see how well my children have done. I feel like they don't deserve to go and show somebody, look at my grandchildren. Why?
At the end. When
At
it's
the
all
end.
with-
But that's the thing. People tend to want to get the glory, but they don't want to go through the process. That's with marriage.
Right.
You want people all the time say, "Oh, I love you and say a relationship. Y'all have so much fun. Y'all this," but we went through absolute hell. So, you know, the process was not good. People want the roast out the oven, but they don't want the hours it take to cook the roast. they want to put it in the microwave. So
honestly, with that whole situation, my thing as I'm getting older, I just kind of like, I know they have hatred, and I'm like, this is my dad, this is my mom. I don't have the ability at this point to filter what I say or be fake with them or even try to hide. Well, I don't have hate for them, but like my dislike for them, because they don't want to be a part of our lives, and it's because they don't like the color of their skin. Well, if they didn't like the color of my mom's skin, they're definitely not going to like the color of my skin. I don't like that. I'm not going to have anybody, or for me, I can't. My parents are a part of me. Like, I'm not going to be able to have a relationship with someone that they don't accept every part of everyone in my family. So, and I mean, we made it this far. I don't need any help from you because we've had enough help. Our family, like, I feel like we're a rare case, honestly, because what we lacked in the other side of our family, it's made up for in my dad's side of the family and my mom's. We're just it's like a big support system. Like, nobody's family is usually like ours. All our friends want to be at our family functions because we are just like such a close, like, and connected family.
I do have to say this. I mean, me and Sid, we joke all the time, but Sid jumped in from the beginning. We went going from, getting married to taking on 3 small babies at one time. And every doctor's appointment, every meeting at the school, every report card meeting, he started slacking off when they got, I think, like to middle school. But I mean, you have biological fathers that don't do that. That don't do the stuff that he's done. So, I don't want to take it lightly that my husband jumped in to a family of 3 already, having his son. And then, there's another segment I would love to do when Cedric Jr. is available, because he was outside of the house. So there's a different perspective that he has that they don't have.
And I'll get my perspective on a different segment too. So,
the thing about it is that, I'll say whatever, but they don't feel like the opinion is good until Cedric says it. What did Daddy say? Like, if I say something, I was like, oh, that's a good idea. What did Daddy say? You tell Daddy? It just shows you that there's no segregation, no difference, no division. Well, I mean, we're talking about segregation. We're talking about separation. We're talking about your kids, my kids. We've never done that. And like, I see people I went to school with, and they're like, I was somewhere with Little said one time, and I was like, they said something about, I think it's a young boyfriend or something. I was like, it's my son. And they was like, I didn't know you had a baby in school, blah, blah, blah. Well, because I don't tell them the difference. I don't go around saying, okay, this is Cedric's son, these are my children, this is ours together. This is our family. Like, there's no Ced's child, my child, your child. I mean, that's crazy. Right. Because when you love somebody unconditionally, it is what it is.
That's correct. And the funny part of it is, like, I was the parent that first brushed the kids' teeth, and a lot of firsts train them how to use the bathroom.
And I didn't even know how to do a lot of that stuff. I knew, but I was more like, okay, I know we're supposed to teach them this, but I don't know how. Like, even when we had the 3 little potty chairs trying to teach them to go to the bathroom, he was like, Angie, they need to get up in the morning and go get on that potty for an extended period of time until they learn. And, just the same thing. It just got to be, he was just daddy. Like, it wasn't, I mean, has anybody ever tried to tell y'all that y'all shouldn't call him daddy? Have y'all ever had that?
Well, I think one time, I don't remember it exactly, but I was talking to somebody, and I was talking about the whole dynamic, and they was like, why would you even call him your biological dad when he's not? And when you have or had a real dad, I mean a biological dad, but I was like, I knew my biological dad more than my.
Yes, Carla, they're triplets.
I knew I knew Daddy more than my actual biological dad. So like, I had more connection with the dad that I have now than my biological dad.
Well, so have either one of you ever had that?
I've had that maybe like twice, and it's just it's not necessarily like calling him dad. It's they feel like I should add the term step to whatever title. Like, why do you call him dad? He's your stepdad. He's just like somebody literally had an argument with me about why I didn't call them stepdad. They were like, I call my mom I call my stepmom by her first name, and I'm not. I mean, you seem like you're comfortable with your dad, so call him stepdad. I'm like, no. He's been my dad since I was all known. So it's kind of hard and difficult to kind of.
I know sit down one going for that.
Talk to people. Yeah, no, it's kind of hard and difficult to talk to people because it's kind of like because it's just like you're stupid. Like I think that because like they like ask questions and I'm like, I give you an answer and they're still confused and I'm like, what is there to be confused about? And then they like ask about Cedric or Amari and they're like, so this is your stepbrother, this is your half brother.
Half brother, you're right.
I didn't even know there's such thing as a half brother.
No, I didn't either.
What, I have half of a brother? No.
You got a whole brother.
It's like
Like,
I have a whole
why would
brother.
you call somebody a half brother? Like,
Not a piece of.
I wouldn't go around and say, hey, half brother, like, that's my brother.
Like, you're not claiming half of him. Like,
Right.
Exactly.
I get a lot of stupid questions a lot, and not even just like the race part, like explaining like, oh, which one's my dad and how it works and all of that.
Okay, I love what Talisa said. The only thing that Step about said is that he stepped right in and stepped up and continue to call him dad, huh, because he's your dad. I love that comment. Oh my gosh. That is so true.
Mom.
But it's funny to me how somebody else gonna argue with you about what to call him.
People will sit here and have like full arguments with me about like,
Okay, she's my debater. Her ultimate goal is to be a lawyer, so you're not gonna out talk her and you're not gonna out debate her. She's gonna tell you why what you're saying is stupid. So whoever tried that conversation, they gonna lose.
like I try not to call people stupid, but like it's
No, you do.
I try not to.
You do all the time.
No,
Who you playing with? You always get by stupid.
Yeah. Okay, but not to their face because that would be
no,
rude.
no.
Right. Okay, so Arlene says stepdad is the dad who stepped out.
Let him slide by. He got a little rush.
Okay. Bye, half brother.
I'm a whole piece of me.
All right, so Cedric, did you catch some of the comments? And I did answer the question, Carla. You asked were they triplets. I said yes, they are triplets.
We missed so many comments.
Go back, try to catch some of them, Cedric.
Okay.
We need more of this in our communities, both parents, period. Correct. They do too much. If he don't want to be with me, he can't see the kids. Or I'm mad that you moved on, so I'm going to hold him because you know, we call it petty now.
Okay. I missed a couple. This is a good one from Curtis. In my situation, I explained I was not trying to replace their parent. I always left it up to them what they chose to call me, Dad or Mr. Curtis. It has worked out very well. The youngest even tells her dad that Mr. Curtis is her dad, and he can only be her uncle.
Oh wow! She trying to start a fight.
Victoria says my bonus daughter calls me mom, and my daughter calls my husband dad. I like that bonus daughter or bonus son.
Yeah, I
That's
did
a nice
too.
term.
You want to sit down here? Yeah, you feet hurt. Go sit down here so you can have something to say.
Okay, guys.
Oh, your head cut off on the bottom.
I think that.
Okay, well you gotta kneel or something so you can see you. Okay, go ahead. What you think? Let him say something. Go ahead.
I think that
This is the bonus little brother.
I think also they favor their child over the other person's child that they're with. That might be the problem too.
Oh yeah.
Like if I come into a relationship and I already have a child, that other child might feel like you favor that other child more than me.
Yeah.
So that's why they call them by the first name or something like that. They don't respect them because they favor the other child. So it's also favoritism.
I didn't really have
Yes.
those.
Oh, look at that.
Ted had a comment about that. He was saying, I'm trying to find it.
But what he said was correct. Sometimes they happen for real. Even not just people tend to treat their children better
Right.
than they treat their bonus children, and they are like I might buy something for mine, but I ain't gonna buy something for yours or whatever case may be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Here it is. Tevin says, many times because of parents outside the house that
We can't hear you.
Many times it's because of the parents outside the house that resent their children calling other parents dad or mom, assuming their role. But this is the line here. The bottom line, children respond based on how they're treated. So if they're treated well and you love them, then eventually they'll call you dad, mom, or whatever the case may be. It's all about how you treat the kids. If you treat the kids with love and respect, and they will respond in kind.
Arlene said he's correct. Favoritism, and it does happen. It's kind of like when people get married, they have my stuff, your stuff, and they say we're married, but they're married living single. And people do that, like they live as single mom and dad. Really, Christopher? You gonna Millie Rock and down?
I can't see it.
Oh my God!
You can't see
his
it?
head going in. So they act like they you know, I'm gonna protect my child to make sure that no one feel that my child doesn't get neglected. Or I know you say you love me, but and you put these conditions on it. Okay, you want me to read one by Latoya, baby?
I'm trying to find it. I'm
Is that time? Okay, Latoya says, my daughter loves my husband as her dad, even though he is her stepdad, and she wants to call him dad, but she doesn't want to offend her bio dad. Even though when we're all together, her friends will ask her if my husband is her dad, and she'll say yes. She told one. Listen now, okay. So for our oldest son, you know,
you gotta say something for the next segment.
Right, but I'm just gonna go based on that. Our oldest son will say, if somebody says your mom, he'll say yes, you know, it's my mom when we're somewhere. But that is an issue, and that's what we're gonna try to deal with next time. Hopefully, my son will be off and can come. But we will definitely deal with the fact that when you have a child outside of the house, because sometimes their lens on what's going on inside the house, they got this picture of how everything is grandiose at one house and we struggling at another house, or whatever the case may be. Or, you know, my parents doing this over here with this child and not with me. So there's another element to this blended family thing.
Well, also too, and then the next time, the next part of this segment of this conversation, we'll talk about how to deal with that and about overcompensating and things of that nature.
Joel said, "Look at the half brother sharing knowledge, right, Joel? The half brother.
Yeah.
He is a whole brother.
You treat us all the same.
Oh my God. What you said, Chanel?
Never
You
get
treat us all the same. We all get whoopings. We all get in trouble.
Don't say that. Don't.
You ain't waiting like a whooping.
Chanel, when the last time
You alive?
Okay.
Look, somebody Chanel was saying you got a
Okay, I
whooping.
have to do with my
Okay,
shit.
Chanel got fear of whooping, so
That's
she gonna
just
start
law.
crying and passing out. As soon as you say she gonna get a
I'm
whooping,
smart.
That's against the law. You can't do that.
you can spank. Can't leave.
Okay, Danita says, I really appreciate you guys for sharing and allowing God to use you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talisa says, my God, this is such a blessing to us. How transparent to
Wait, we read that one already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I missed it.
Okay, Terry said, Angie, you get on my nerves. You always talking about how you used to be my favorite cousin until my children came along. Oh, when your children come along, people that used to love you break up with you. Take people to the Jasmine Sullivan concert and leave you home.
so petty about that.
So mad.
Said Terry going to he taking the girl. I was like,
What's your favorite cousin?
My blessing is not your blessing.
Me too.
ooh, my way
Pass
is
down.
You see, you read Arlene's. Another thing is some kids are raised wrong, and trying to correct them can cause a problem.
Yes, Arlene,
Yeah.
and that's a big issue. The majority of the time for blended families, because my disciplinary thought process and his is different. And so if you let your child say and do what she want to say to you, and talk back, or leave when they want to leave, and that's not going to work, or the husband comes in and says it's not going to work. That's why I said you got to get to know the person, get to know the child.
Right.
You got to have a relationship, because there still has to be structure, but it can't just be all discipline and no love and no affection.
Well, that's why I said earlier, all parties involved have to get together.
Get down.
Yeah, don't do that. They
No,
have to have a
that's some
conversation
freakazoid stuff.
so that the discipline is the same at both households. You can't have them doing one thing in one household, because what that leads to is the kid acting up. Because when I'm at my mom's house or my dad's house, I get off the chain. But when I come over here, I got rules and regulations. I don't like that.
Right.
Let me get lit.
There's a few more comments we'll give in the close in a minute. Michelle said, what a beautiful family. Thank you so much.
I know, right?
Thank you.
Listen, they are so mild right now. Usually they turn all the way up. I think because I had to bring them back because they was getting ready to go down the path of destruction real quick. Biblically, there is no such thing as a step anything. There is a half. Well, legally in the court system, there is a step and a half. So that's probably where people get that from.
Well, we're not going to say none of that.
We just say my children. My children.
Hey, you, come here.
So have you ever been embarrassed to walk in
Girl, come
somewhere with your big black dad?
No.
I think it's actually pretty
I think
fun.
it's my everyday carry.
Oh my God. Okay. So Sarah's been telling the kids that everybody needs an everyday carry, something to protect themselves. And they were saying, he's saying that we could get Mark, sit down. He was saying that, right. He was saying that, they're going to be by themselves. They need to be able to protect themselves.
Right.
So you need an everyday carry, something that, whether it's mace or something. And so I just asked them, are they not ashamed of being with their big black dad? She said he her everyday carry.
True.
He does.
It's
He
funny.
tour everything.
It's funny because you have little boys that like you and stuff, and they see daddy, and they like when we used to be in the front of the school, and little guys come by us, and I wait for daddy to come, and as soon as they see him pull up in the truck, they like they go.
There's your dad. They like, there's your dad.
It's so funny.
That's hilarious. And he don't try to smile and pretend like he friendly at all. He purposefully.
I'm not friendly.
He be mean mugging, scaring all the little boys away.
He's a big old teddy bear.
Okay, so the funny thing is this thing right here. She used to be really mean as nails, and then now she want to hug everybody, but she really want to hug him, and he don't like hugs. He like Major Payne, make me feel all funny. So she run around the house chasing him to hug her. He mushed her face. She come back more. I was like, now if I mushed her, then it would be a problem, and I mistreat her. But he can mush her, and then she come back with more hugs because she a daddy's girl.
She want 100 hugs. One a day is what we agree.
I didn't give my home.
I mean, don't you want me to give hugs to him rather than another dude or boy?
Right? Oh,
Daddy?
Smart.
adulting.
There's adulting?
Yeah.
Adulting.
So they're working on adulting.
Yeah,
That's what they say. So anyway,
You missed Kim.
what Kim say?
This is right on point. Here I am wanting the man to get the child, and he won't because I will not put up with his foolishness. Thanks for sharing.
You guys are truly blessed. Your kids are smart and well-mannered in spite of who raised them. Curtis!
Thank
You could have left that part out.
Look, sound like some jealousy, Angie.
We coming back to your house in China, and I'm bringing everybody. It's your cousin. He got 50,000 kids too.
Look,
But we got to take a bag and go to their house because they live far.
they got more kids than we got.
Yes,
Hey,
they got
how
See,
many?
you see, say sound like you
They
jealous.
got
a bunch of
right?
them. I say I'm ignoring Curtis.
You jealous, Angie.
Arlene said this actually funny because last week Ken asked the kids to not call him Mr. Ken. He asked him to call Papa, Pops, or Dad. He said he felt ashamed when they called him that. Arlene, that's next week because I had the same issue. I never get called by my first name, but I said Miss Angie made me feel like the next door neighbor. I was like, I hate Miss Angie. Now I would prefer Miss Angie over Angie because it's not gonna do it. Oops, that's you.
Abuse.
Don't get beat up. Say don't get beat up.
That's your calling for your
Girl,
life, though.
hey,
It's your name.
Hey.
You be the messenger. To
Well,
God.
I guess I'll give myself a new name. And
That's
you
your
can't say that
assignment.
so anyway,
Shanice.
hey, okay, I just said, I don't get my glasses though. Okay, so Earl says a great father, just keep them little boys away. Great job, said, let them know if I have to help regulate, arm is strong.
Right.
Earl, they got a cousin on here named Tevin.
Crazy.
He's certified crazy. Like, yeah, he was but
Who
he
was telling the things that
said-
he would do?
no, but like there's always a piece that passes understanding with him at all times.
Too.
Yeah, he arm is strong too, and he is a piece. He has a few pieces that pass all understanding at all times, and he don't mind being crazy with them. So they terrified that cousin Sel and Tevin gonna pull up to the scene with the silly miss.
Let me say the girls. What Tiff was doing? What y'all laughing about?
I ain't know. We not gonna talk about they was laughing about.
I know what we are laughing about.
I'll tell you later.
Shanice, you got your hand up like you're in class.
Tell what you laughing about and see what you get.
I might not be allowed
Be on
to
ID
this,
channel.
so I'm just gonna
Hey,
keep it to myself.
Hey, be on ID channel.
I can find it for you.
I mean, right? Earl said he gonna regulate with a tank.
There you go.
But again, if you can, on the left hand side, share it to your page. If you feel like this has been helpful to you, helpful to your family. This is just one of a series. I think that people don't talk about families, and I'm sure the going topic is Christopher.
The includer.
I'm sure the going topic is going to be about the biggest thing I think we talked about tonight was the naming of the blended family, step parent, or whatever the case may be. Oh yes, which guy can go out? So
It went off already.
yeah. So
Which one's that up there?
that's Instagram.
Instagram.
Somebody
That's IG.
said act like they said, Mom, somebody else act like us. Arlene, this is a mild version, and you don't understand. They get real crazy, and I have to be like, and then they say I be the killjoy. I have to be like, stop that! Act like you got some sense. You know how to play mama, especially that thing back there. See it right now? I'm picking your nose.
We have fun.
Ew.
It's all the way in there.
Did
Okay.
you get it?
That's so good.
Oh, you got it on you.
So anyway, if you have any questions regarding this blended family thing,
We all
Hey,
love
guys.
Daddy.
The burger was good.
Got these puppies.
listen. If you have any, okay, y'all, listen, we trying to close.
I'm sorry. Hey, Blondie, stop.
Now she ain't gonna stop that.
So goofy.
So, if you have any questions for next week's segment about blended families, about any kind of thing with regard to that, step parents, blended family, bonus family, any of the stuff that we talked about tonight, or anything that you have discipline, any of the stuff we talked about, if you would inbox us so we can have that on our list to address for next week. Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
I'm praying us out. I'm praying us out, guys.
You gonna pray for us tonight?
I was praying us out. I got you. Oh, it was in his head. Y'all praying y'all out. I got y'all.
We wasn't ready for his prayer.
Back.
Okay, listen, seriously, you're gonna pray now, y'all.
Okay.
Come on now.
Oh,
Okay, bow your big heads.
Mari, no, we're
Lord.
not. Hey, we're not gonna start that. If you're gonna pray for real, then you pray. Yeah,
I
we do close
I
in
just
prayer.
started.
No, you talking about your big head.
Bow your head. And don't you all do? Okay,
Come on.
Oh,
Lord,
you were finished
I
talking?
just thank
Yeah.
you.
No, I don't matter.
Wait,
We not
she
finished
finished.
yet. She just said,
You premature with your prayer, buddy.
Come on.
I guess we
All right,
finished today.
don't do
You
no.
finished telling about sharing.
Just share it to
Go
your
to
page.
YouTube. We've got videos on YouTube. Tell your friends about it. They can come and watch it later on something. Facebook, one of them. Instagram.
We gotta teach y'all that about
They
something.
might be on Pinterest. I don't know.
Pinterest.
Snapchat.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
YouTube videos, they'd be like, okay, all of our IGs and all our social media down below.
It's gonna be right there.
Subscribe.
Like,
So I
subscribe.
have to put it when I do it on when I upload it to
You
YouTube.
can put
Yeah,
it,
put it
hey,
down
you can put it up
below.
here.
Like,
now.
subscribe
Down
here,
below.
right here, right here. Like, subscribe, comment.
Put it right here.
Like,
Right
subscribe,
Comment,
comment.
yeah.
Right this year.
Okay, see, this is the mess that we have in our house. We're gonna pray.
Gonna pray.
Remember to pray together, guys. We pray together every morning on the way to schools and our respective places. Chris, if you're gonna be serious, you can pray. If not, then you can't.
Well,
We're praying for families
my demeanor
and
is
marriages.
You don't pray
Seriously.
serious.
Lord.
You have to sleep outside.
I don't like that.
Might as well lock the door now.
Bow your head, people.
Come on.
Okay, Lord, I'd like to thank you for all these marriages. And I ask you to help any marriages that messed up. And that you help them to fix whatever problems they have. And that all the families just treat everybody equally. And no one feels left out or like they have favoritism or anything like that. And all these marriages stick together. And not a whole bunch of the divorces. And that everybody stays safe in these marriages. And we cancel the assignment of the enemy. In Jesus' name, pray, amen.
Amen. He said their marriage is messed up. Fix it.
Right.
He does.
It's a
Yeah.
messed up ones out there, buddy.
That's a good prayer, Christopher.
Damn,
They
Lord.
messed up. He
Damn,
cancels
Lord,
assignment
son.
of the enemy.
We are the family.
Hey, everybody there. Hey, Angie, I'm not the lady.
We watching that lady down like this. Todd, you see him praying.
You down like this.
No,
You're not doing this.
You down like that.
don't you do my daddy like that.
How you down, Steve?
Don't. First of all, you do my daddy like that. My daddy head is. My daddy head is big.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You said yes.
You were
It runs in the
you
family.
were giving you like certain things to go after, and I pointed to the forehead. I was thinking of TV time. Y'all got me.
Hey,
Christopher, that was awesome. I know, right?
Y'all not gonna talk about my head. It ain't that big.
Everything I do is awesome.
Look, ooh, Chanel, look, we got matching head.
It's okay. I'm proud.
Ooh, Sean.
Equally as
Whoa.
size.
Whoa. They can, Chanel, put that hair back. Let's see that dome.
Nope, she ain't got none.
I'm not a part of it.
Still got a brain.
If I do light skin face, my forehead gets smaller.
Look, right.
I got phone. See, my
Y'all see how the movie just got under there?
It wasn't
Hey, Uncle Booby.
He late. He late.
Hey,
Come on.
better late than never.
He ain't nothing that's gonna help his life.
Come visit me.
Yeah,
No, you're not out of the house.
Be a real
Oh,
uncle.
bring the t-shirt.
my forehead.
Thank you,
bigger now.
Danielle.
My hair running
We appreciate you.
Is it because of
Oh,
us?
well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My hair falling out.
Tanisha said, "Amen, Amari." Danielle said that said to Angie that was a great segment. Keep doing what God has called you to do. Love the
God bless y'all people.
videos.
She really just loves
God bless y'all people.
They
Yeah,
say you really just love them.
Reverend Amari, God bless y'all
Because
people.
obviously we
God
You say
bless.
Reverend Amari?
Reverend Amari, God bless
Reverend-
y'all people.
Reverend Amari,
Yup.
don't have
Reverend Amari,
Something Amari. Bless you.
blended with crazy as in crazier. Period.
period.
Boo, you get out of here.
Exclamation point.
Better late than never.
Curtis, we talk about that off of here. You cook some food and we'll come over and we'll discuss it.
Right?
That's right.
Oh,
They cook a lot of food.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Wait, we can come over.
We can go now. I'm ready.
Next weekend.
No,
Okay,
now.
I'm gonna go
I
start
don't have
packing my bag now.
I got my
Our
bag
kids
ready.
love food. You see,
Right?
hey, we
I
got
love
Gotcha.
food. I'm always hungry.
Yeah, they always hungry and greedy. They eat like
Always
grown
hungry.
men.
Right, can I eat now?
I'm greedy.
So-
I'm always hungry.
We are getting off. We are past our time. They like to talk.
You mean
I
you?
don't know where they get that from.
kitchen is closed.
You like to talk?
That sounds like a plan. You say 11-4.
That weekend, that's next weekend, ain't it?
No, it ain't that weekend. That's about
weekends.
10 weekends ago. 10 weekends from now.
You said 10 weekends ago?
That's a good plan. We're talking about.
I know, right?
11-4.
That means we're going to go back on 11-4.
Next
That's
month.
not
Too
time.
far away.
Next
Y'all
month.
can see my black
And we
love
need to
shirt.
go a little
Y'all
earlier.
see Cedric Black Love shirt?
Barely.
It
Mine
says
too.
vice president, but we're going to have another election because I
Y'all see
didn't.
mine?
Oh, yeah, Sean. Mara, stand up and show me your shirt.
Black love kids. Turn
Y'all
around
see
and-
Black Love Kids? Turn
We like kids,
around.
man.
Turn around.
Yeah, we can't
Y'all
do
my
that shirt
kids.
no more because we adults.
BLU.
Oh, no,
Y'all.
y'all still our kids just because you think you're grown.
We got black shirts
Let me say
on,
what's up, Sean.
and I can put a heart right here.
Are you
So
twerking?
it's a
No,
black-
I was like,
Boy, you stop doing that joke.
It's a black love. Look, it's a heart, and it's
Black,
a black
oh yeah, black
You
love.
got a black card.
Turn that thing
Mari.
Bye.
Bye.
bye, people.
Oh, somebody said, he said, what's up, Sean?
on. Who's this?
You so
Uncle
late.
Boogie.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Sean, come out.
You don't gotta see it to say hi.
Just say hi, honey.
I see you.
I did.
Y'all gonna say goodnight?
Good night.
It's
Hey,
a good
listen.
night.
For just 60 cents a day, you too can adopt.
You can sing with Ashley
Triplets.
Childs.
Hey,
$60
adopt
a
Even
day.
look, the
I'm
little
worth
one,
way more than 60 cents a day.
this one here,
I cook,
we'll
I
give him, you can get 45 cents. We'll let you have this one.
You say 45 cents.
I-
45 cents a day.
I cook, I clean.
What if I said that you can save an Ashley
60
little
cents for
kid?
these ones because they can do a lot more chores and stuff. They're adults
Wait,
now.
Yeah, I'm
I
lazy.
can do art.
I go to
Right,
sleep.
but
Sean to go to sleep.
I think
This
I'm
John
gonna
ain't do
cook
nothing.
dinner,
I can bring money to the house.
I cook and clean.
15 cents a day.
Dab us off, guys. Let's dab off.
No.
He ain't getting talk, so he want dad. Wait.
He's making his bed at 15 cents.
What are you doing,
I think I'm worth 15.
You embarrassing us so
I'm
hard
pricing-
right
I'm dabbing us out.
Please don't.
Who did he get his
I'm
dancing
the best artist
skills
you have.
from?
Mommy and daddy.
No, Cedric can't dance.
I'm a mixed dancer. I get it from
dance.
mommy and daddy.
I just do salsa and merengue.
Well, do it, baby. Show me.
Show it to us.
Whoa!
Rico,
No!
over
Hey,
here.
look, you said I'm my shirt so you can see.
Oh, wait, your taco meat.
Ooh.
No, that's what you're
Okay,
not
yeah.
gonna do. Y'all stop encouraging your day with that dumb jump.
Hey, look, encouragement,
Hey, man, you gonna turn the
Biggest,
thing on?
Can't stop, Mari.
It's still going.